Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have here two articles with two very inciting titles or headlines, and both of them have to do with the moon. The moon, the Chinese, the Russians, missiles, and attack. Got that? So the first one is that I'm going to feature is with a U.S. military commander who worries that China could launch an attack from the moon. Yeah, that moon. So that's the first article. And the other one, supposedly, again, reportedly, the Russians and the Chinese are building a nuclear reactor on the moon. Now, let's read excerpts from these articles and discuss the possibility, probability, and imbecility of the statements. So let's start with the first one, the most worrisome of the two. The bite, it's futuristic, this is futurism, the future is yours. Here it is, US military commander worries China could launch attack from moon. Oy vey, get under your school desks and you will be defended, like with the nuclear attacks. Remember in the Cold War, the 50s? Hide under the school desks, you will be A-OK. Loony landing. As the lunar space race heats up, the United States is growing increasingly concerned about its chief adversary using the moon to launch attacks, because we would never do such a thing. We don't have any programs that are already looking into it. Nah, we're just retards. That's not the way the world works, my friends. As the military website Defense One reports, Space Forces Anthony Mastalir, as I'm going to call him, Mastalir, a brigadier general, oy vey, he knows what he's talking about, who commands the Off-Planet Security Force Indo-Pacific section, seemed worried that China might not honor the decades-old space treaty that requires all countries to use space only to benefit all humankind. Now, I know this thing here is just imbecilic because, people have interests, and how can you get all humankind? Well, we all want the good, right? The good to prevail, but my good might have a different nuance than your good. Now, take a criminal's view on the good. Do you think that the criminals' take on the good is the same as ours, law-abiding, beautiful citizens that we are? I don't think so. But they and us, we are on the same page, humankind, right? Well, I'm just playing this little dumbass game because all humankind, again, all be good and love one another and be kind and all that. And I'm quoting, from a military perspective, Mastalir pondered, and I'm quoting, I'm curious about, are there attack vectors that we haven't considered or that we need to consider? Who is baddie? All right, we're not going to go to see what baddie is. We're going to just take this. U.S. military commander worries China could launch attack from moon. Now, he is worried that could be the possibility, but could that be a possibility? That you could launch an attack from the moon, and why do you need to go straight to the moon to attack the Earth when you can do it right here? That's the first idiotic thing. The second one is, look at reality. And reality is, can you imagine what kind of infrastructure the Chinese need to bring to the moon? Now, leave aside our landings on the moon. Okay, leave that aside. Do you know what is the biggest and heaviest thing the humankind sent to the moon? I mean, look at the Chinese, the last one that they sent. Look what kind of machines we sent to the moon. And you're gonna figure out that's our capability at this point. Let aside that somehow in 1969 and on, we were visiting the moon like grocery store, right? Right. With all those guys over there with big, okay? So we didn't do that because we didn't care. We didn't care by Van Allen radiation belt. We didn't care about that one. Yet. All right. So I think the Russians are not going to keep their mouth shut for much longer. But if the Russians will not keep their mouth shut, then the Americans will not keep their mouth shut about the Russians. You know what I'm talking about? No. Maybe you do. If you do, very good. Let's go to the next article, which is, oh my God, it's even worse. Wait a second, these guys want money, and you know how I am about money. Here it is. Popular mechanics. China and Russia are building a nuclear reactor on the moon together. Together again? Now, you think that these guys are capable of building a nuclear reactor on the moon with what I told you before? I don't think so. I'm 99.9999999% certain the Russians will never, not never, as we have the technology and we see how the technology goes and our abilities, all right, I don't think the Russians will build and the Chinese a nuclear reactor on the moon in the next, I don't know, 5 centuries. Yeah, but hey, long journey starts with the first step. So let's move on. As the space race accelerates, a joint venture sets sights on powering humanity's extraterrestrial future. Why? March 20th. Why? All right. Nuclear power is the go-to energy source for lunar operations due to moon's long nights and distinct lack of wind. Oh, wait a second. What do you mean lack of wind? Haven't we all watched those NASA provided videos from the moon landings? Yes, we did. Did you see the United States flag waving in the moon lunar surface? I did. Not in Arizona. Not in Arizona, no. On the moon. So, distinct lack of wind. I know they told us that there's some, certain kind of wind in space and all that. And I think that's why it was right there. The flag was waving. Jesus Christ, superstar. Let's move on. Russia's space agency Roscosmos announced earlier last week that it will likely team up with China to create a lunar nuclear power plant. Okay. This effort joins NASA's own modern nuclear space technology ambitions that date back to at least 2015. What have I been telling you about these guys' program? All right, now, I'll give you my take. They're gonna need centuries to do that. First, they have to send something bigger than a fucking box. Oh, I'm sorry, we landed over there a few times. So, don't worry, the commander is just keeping his thinking about his job security, all right? Creates a problem so he can be needed. I don't think that, as I said, the Chinese and the Russians will be able to do that, or the Americans in the next 5 centuries, but hey, why not? We'll see. By that time, maybe these guys are going to bring us a new video of another moon landing. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.